Well, let me start here. We've been saying it for decades now. Decades. Power corrupts. Absolute power corrupts absolutely. That used to be kind of like a bumper sticker thing back in the Reagan era, you know. These days, I think it's lost its impact. I don't know if people really understand it anymore, even know it. Power corrupts. Absolute power corrupts absolutely. Joe Biden has given his blanket pardon to his son, but only for crimes that may have been committed over the last 10 years. Now, this is something that he said he would never do, but I'm not surprised. Really, this is the least surprising story of the decade. We all knew it. We all knew it was coming, right? Now, this is the privilege of the U.S. president. The final month of office actually accounts for about 92% of presidential pardons and sentence commutations. It's fairly normal then for presidents to exercise that constitutional power, and it is his right to do it. It has no constitutional or Supreme Court oversight, so he can do it whatever he wants. It's one of the few powers that we grant the executive office for which there is no check and balance process outlined in the Constitution. It's been used every year since Herbert Hoover, when he pardoned the first Thanksgiving turkey. Legally speaking, Joe Biden giving a blanket pardon to his son for felony crimes that he's actually admitted to in court and sentenced to in court after millions of dollars were spent in not only covering up the crimes, but also denying the crimes, and all of the corruption that went on with the Justice Department and the FBI and the IRS. All of that now is gone. He admitted it in a book. He admitted it as soon as he knew Dad was going to pardon him. And presidents can do this. They have, whole staffs dedicated to finding criminals who may have gotten the short end of the stick. And if I may pause here just for a Glenn Beck moment, a short end of the stick, you know where that comes from? It's actually a historic reference from the Scottish Gaelic days, where they had physical combat where two men would take a tree branch and then, kind of like a wishbone, they would break it in half, and then they'd beat each other, to death with that stick. So it's like the turkey wishbone, except the other person dies. Anyway, back to modern times. President can give a blanket pardon to a multi-felony son directly in the face of his own Justice Department investigations of the same son. Now, we're at the point where if this was just cocaine and prostitutes, I don't think we'd care that much. I really don't. I mean, it would be bad, but I don't think him doing cocaine and prostitutes is that much as a surprise. Would you be that surprised if cocaine and prostitutes, Dad was doing them too? No. However, we're talking about money laundering charges to the Biden family. What about the violation of the State Secrets Act? You know that Biden granted his children, including Hunter, security clearance against the recommendations of the NSA and the CIA that warned him over and over and over again, secrets are being leaked. How about Chinese prostitute spies? Do you care about that much? I don't even know how you face yourself in the mirror if you're part of the White House press corps or anybody in the mainstream media who has been saying the whole time, none of this happened, He's not going to pardon his son. He's not going to need to. I mean, I feel bad in a very small way for KJP, who, has to stand there today to defend what she's been saying the whole time. No, I stand by what the president has said for the last 2 years. He's been saying it the whole time. Now she's got to say, if it wasn't the president's son, would he have been prosecuted? Yes. he would have been prosecuted. In fact, he would have been in jail years ago. So when Joe Biden says, yeah, well, there was a miscarriage of justice here. I mean, he got special treatment. Yes, he did. The reason why all of this is a big deal is because the Justice Department and the FBI and the IRS made a deal that one judge said, wait a minute, I've never seen a deal like this. What's going on here? That's why this whole thing came undone. They were trying to sweep it up. Yes, he was getting a sweetheart deal that you wouldn't have gotten, your son wouldn't have gotten. How are they going to defend it? The same way. The same way. It doesn't matter. This is why I say this is the least surprising story of the decade. Nobody is surprised by it. We knew this was happening when he was running. Now, if Trump is who we think he is, or who he's, I hope, going to be, an agent of change, he can completely blow the lid off of this and effectively destroy and just destroy any semblance of respect that Biden had left. Even if he can't prosecute Hunter or Joe, that's fine. But he can declassify every single document in the Biden investigation, from cocaine to China to the Middle East, and destroy not just the Biden legacy. He's already destroyed that. But he can destroy the press. He can destroy everyone that was involved in this, the entire apparatus around it. Biden only granted Hunter immunity. Only Hunter. And by extension, himself. But not the gross military and intelligence industrial complex and the team around them. All those people can be exposed. All of those people can go to jail. And with the appointment of Kash Patel, I predict it's going to happen. So now, why not hearings? I mean, we could impeach Biden right now, but you want to spend the money on that? You want to spend the time on that? Justice would say yes. Our country demands that we say yes. If we want a country and we have a family that has built millions of dollars from other countries. Why are we in Ukraine? Why is all this money going to Ukraine? Where is it going? Where is it ending up? Nobody has followed the money on that one. Why? Why? Is there even more corruption? Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton, they really were the ones that kind of industrialized this whole game. They did it with China, but everybody turned their head. No big deal. They're out of office now. Joe Biden perfected it. If we let this family get away with this, what do you think is going to happen the next time a president decides to sell themselves and the office? People must go to jail. The president has every right to pardon his son. But Kash Patel, if he's half the man if he's half the man I know he is, declassify all of it. All of it. Call out the corruption that is everywhere. I have to ask half the country a question, and I know you think that we're stupid because Donald Trump is a felon. Is he? Is he? He's a felon on what? On what? Charges that were brought against him that have never been brought against anyone ever in the history of the country? That's called weaponization. And is it a surprise that they were brought when he was running? You see, the Hunter Biden thing, that should have been in the pipeline years before, but couldn't do it because of Biden's grasp on the system. How stupid are you? I mean, I'm sorry, I don't mean to insult you because you think I'm stupid. What is it going to take? You're still donating and supporting the Democratic Party? They lied to you on so many things, but they lied to you about this. They lied to you about the laptop being real when they knew it was real. The FBI was part of it. They tried to make a deal, an underhanded deal that you would have never gotten. Remember, why would you stand up for someone's extra rights that you would never get? If it's right for them, it has to be right for you. Remember, we lend our rights to them to protect them. They don't have extra rights. They have none. They can't print rights. They come from us. You know, it is so hard. You know, we just went through Thanksgiving, and hopefully you had a good Thanksgiving, and hopefully you had, you know, you didn't have big battles and fights and everything else. Hopefully things went well. But I got to tell you, it is hard. I marvel at the blindness of so many Americans. I marvel at it. And I know they think the same of us. I know. That's fine. But we have the Constitution on our side. We are fighting for the... Believe me, if Donald Trump, we found out, was selling secrets to Russia, was selling secrets or selling his office to China, I'd be first in line. Be first in line to impeach him. If he was enriching his children exactly the same way that Joe Biden was, I would be for his prosecution and his jail time. Can you say that? Until you can rationally describe to me that this isn't just pure nepotism that utterly destroys Biden's entire career, his entire legacy, his entire presidency, everything that this man does and has done, we now know, for the last 10 years. This isn't just, hey, I pardon him for this crime. I pardon him for every crime he may have committed for a 10-year period. I mean, if we meet in the grocery store, God bless you, but if you still think that that's okay, I might just pat you on the head and send you down the cereal aisle with the same kind of kindness I show a retarded puppy, but holy cow. Justice is more than a specific outcome. It is a philosophy. It's a mentality. It's an absolute. We may not get it right every time because we're human, but we should strive for justice. What if Hunter's crimes were rape or murder? Would that be okay? Would you still support a blanket pardon? Or would you say, no, that's too far, but selling my children and your children into slavery by granting China and others special access to our White House and to our secrets, that's okay? Good on you. It's not for me, but good on you. And let me just end it with, surprise! He pardoned his son.